what does a very fragmented place in our campus need to or want to look like within our environment to start approaching this journey of AI. And so as we've done that, and as we come today, we really are just excited to have conversations like this and dialogue. So we greatly appreciate this opportunity.
It's all about this builder mindset, right? So if you think about, we have one responsibility, which is, okay, teach people about what AI means, teach people maybe how to use the generative AI tools, how you use co-pilots, or how do you use, ChatGPT. But that's different than also teaching people how to think about being a builder, right? And that's this mentality and this culture shift. And we'll get to how we're doing this through what we call a sandbox. But we wanted our people to not just learn how to use a tool within their workflow to be more efficient, but also to build their own tools, to think about the possibilities when you get into a builder mindset that AI unlocks for people, whereas before maybe you needed to be a software engineer or a coder or something to actually have that builder mentality.